What it do, KTTeeV? This is KT, and I'm coming at you live with another episode of the Daily K Podcast. And on today, I'm coming from Willis ISD, and we are at the first Lego League Robotics competition. All right, let's go take a look.
This is Jane. I'm the first Lego League coordinator, and I'm here with one of my fabulous team number 45228, and we're going to talk a little bit about their team for people who are not familiar with First Lego League. So why don't we start off talking a little bit about your research project. So First Lego League has 4 parts. Can y'all help me with the 4 parts that you judged in?
Robot design.
So robot design.
Robot game.
Core
values. And core values.
Project and core values. Good job. So 4, each of them worth 25%, right? Yep. So let's talk about the presentation. How did y'all decide what your research project was?
So we all researched a topic that was interesting to us, and then we took a blind vote as a team.
Okay. And so what did you land on? What did you end up doing research on?
We chose on solving air pollution.
Okay. And so you want to give me a brief idea of the problem and what you came up with the solution?
We chose to solve the amount of CO2 in the air. So basically what our solution is to take CO2 from the air and chemically combine it with hydrogen from moisture.
Yes.
And to create a fuel, which can be sold to make consumer goods.
Okay, so you're going to turn a problem into something that consumers can benefit from. Sounds great to me.
So here's a prototype of our model.
Okay.
So basically we have an intake fan, and it pushes.
Because they're talking and we don't want to go into too much detail, you see how excited they get about their research. I love that he's whipped out the design for me, and they have a whole folder dedicated. So the research component is not a second part of this contest, is it? No, it's very important, and because your research can go on to win awards. So let's talk a little bit about the robot, which is the next part, right? So you want to show us one of the so you're gonna help them out?
Here's our folder. You explain it while I run it. Ready?
Okay. So he's gonna explain it while he runs it.
All right. So basically, our robot goes forward, and we're basically going to try and surround the mission model on all sides. So simultaneously, while we're pushing the blue block into the circle, into the guide hole, we're gonna lower this. We're gonna push on this lever.
There you go. Here's a little practice. Yeah. So that's part of it is that they work on this for up until their challenge day. But as you can see, sometimes they some of the missions as they see it at practice may not be exactly, so they have to make a little adjustments when they get here, which is why we usually provide practice tables so that they can continue working on their mission. So let's look at it again.
This time it should work.
Yeah. What's the sign that lets you know that it might work?
If the blue block is pushed exactly into the circle, it means it's gonna work.
Yeah, so it's off. Okay, but you think it's a math problem, but you got a couple of more practices. All right, so how long has your team been together? How long have y'all been a team?
A few months. I just joined from a different team.
You came from another team?
Yeah.
And you're new
Right
too?
here, we actually used to be rivals on a school team. So now we're a team.
Yeah, so y'all were on different school teams,
School teams.
and then y'all came together, and you came from another
Yeah, I
team.
came from another team.
And now you guys,
Rivals last year.
and y'all were rivals.
We destroyed you.
But now you're all a team. You're now the
Yes.
circuit breakers. And so, how do you think you're going to do today?
Pretty well.
Pretty well. Very well. Okay. Well, then let me get some high fives. Thank y'all
Thank
for using some of your practice time to talk to me. Lego League, but I'm not with Lego robots this time. Instead, we are here with the Lab Rats, and they are a First Tech Challenge team. So why don't you introduce yourselves with your name, what grade you're in, and how long you've been in robotics?
I'm Yasmin. I'm in 9th grade, and I've been in robotics for 3 to 4 years. This is my 4th year.
I'm Hannah. I'm in 8th grade, and this is my 2nd year.
Did you both start with First Lego League? So did you ever compete in First Lego League before?
I started with FTC, not FLL. So
you've been working with this robot for a while. You too?
Yeah, I started here, but my sister was on the FLL team for Lab Rats.
All right, cool. So why don't y'all tell me a little bit about your robot and some of the coolest features you think that it has?
So I think our robot has a really cool tool this year because we have these they look like punching gloves, but they're used to pick up a foundation, which is like, you see that tray right there?
Yes.
We didn't bring it, but it has a lip like that, and we need to pull it with the blocks in them.
Right.
So it's really good for pulling the foundation without having the blocks tip over.
Right.
But we also have arms that pick up the blocks and drawer sliders that let them go up to stack. And a rat tail that has the cheese on.
I see your cheese.
And it's called a capstone.
Okay.
It's like a certain amount of points for putting
right, because you leave that on the
Yeah.
field if you bring your own and you leave it on the field, so that's so you have cheese. Of course, you're the Lab Rats. Why wouldn't they have cheese? All right, so tell me what, I do notice that there is, is this all of your team, or how large is your team?
This is pretty much our team.
3 girls, 1 boy, and 2 boys.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so but you have a team that is predominantly made up of girls, which is sometimes not saw a lot in first, correct? Right.
That's true.
Right. So tell me, what has been your experience being a member of a first team? Juggling sort of the challenges of being like a girl in this sport that a lot of people don't, attach with kind of our girlness?
So I think it's very inspiring to see also like the FRC girls do it still, because they're still into it even though they have other things to do, as in say they do band, but they're like still dedicated to do robotics because it's a passion to them, and I would like that to continue being a passion for me.
Right. And what about you?
I think it's really important that everyone like learns new things, like teamwork and leadership skills.
Right.
And robotics is a great way to show those things. So.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Like I appreciate what both of you have shared, and it's very inspiring to see you. Were you all able to come to the first Like a Girl event this year? You were there. Oh,
did.
yes. Well, then you all already met me, and you already know how passionate I am about this. Not just about girls, but for girls to be inclusive of boys in our movement, right? So what has that been like this season? Like, did were you at all inspired to maybe change anything about the way you operated on your team? Knowing that, well, I do know you said that you mentioned the FRC girls. Like, was that a part, like, where did you get that sort of inspiration for the FRC girl thing?
Well, whenever like just seeing videos, like, or we went to NASA earlier, and we got to see people on the FRC team that spent so much time working on robots, but like they don't just do little things, they do big things.
Right.
And I feel like I'm doing a lot of work right now, but they do so much more.
Right, and that makes you want to do that. You're going to be that girl. I know you are. I can tell that both of you are going to be that girl, because, like, let me tell you the evidence. Mainly because you are on a Saturday. You're not competing today, right? You're volunteering your time so that every kid in this room can see, hey, there's more to this. Like, there's somewhere for you to go. That's how you keep the passion going for yourself, actually, by giving it and sharing it with someone else. Like, so I thank you for sharing this time with us and talking to us about FTC. Can we see your robot a little bit? Yeah. All right. Why don't you show us, like, I want to see the controllers and everything. Show the driver's base.
There are game pads.
And then it's connected to, what is it? Show your full driver base.
And then it also over here.
Okay, so
it's a wireless connection
between the two cell phones, right?
And so we have 3 different tools on here. The arms. So the block, we can go ahead and get that one over there.
And then we also have
Oh yes. So these tools.
Oh, cool. Are you able to grab a block?
Yes.
Well, let's see.
Here, let me unstack.
All right. And are both of you working together to drive it?
Yes, we communicate like, okay, let's go for this block, or this is our strategy.
And one's driving and the other one's doing the arm?
Yes.
So who has the arm right now?
I'm doing the tools right now.
Oh, so it's called the tools.
Yes.
So it's more than one thing. So it's called the
There's
tools,
all the
not
tools
the.
on this one.
Yes, and then she's
just driving the vehicle.
And is this your mechanical engineer that kind of comes in and makes sure everything can work out? He's like, yeah, that's what I do.
Okay. Let's get that one. Okay. So these open up. It's kind of like it's hugging the block.
Right. Oh, cool. Look at that. Look at you all. Okay.
Put it up here.
Oh, yeah.
So that's basically how it is, the whole game. Just try to get as many as you can.
Right. How did y'all do in y'all? How have y'all been doing in your matches?
So
Pretty good.
our last competition, we did really good. We had won. Then we had about 5 rounds. We did pretty good, but our last one we lost, but it was okay because we learned from it.
So you've been winning a lot of rounds, is what you're trying to tell me.
We've just, it's hard to explain this,
Yeah, okay, so let me familiarize everybody with First Tech Challenge. So First Tech Challenge plays much different than First Lego League. For First Lego League, we come one qualifier. You might, if you move on, you keep playing. If you don't move on, you only come to the one event. With First Tech Challenge, they actually meet up in matches about once monthly, right? Like about once a month, and they can play up to 6 times, but they're mandatory to play two, right? 2 matches and then one region, and then but there's opportunities to play all up to 6 times. So they have it's pretty competitive. They see you see the people who beat you again, don't you? The next week.
So what I'm trying to say is like, so our first competitions we didn't do very well because we've gone through so many different tools, but we learned from our mistakes. So our last one that we had was like so good, and we were like, oh, we learned from this, and now we're more confident in doing more and trying more new things.
All right, so thank y'all so much again to the Lab Rats for sharing with us how important it is to show our first pipeline. So we have First Lego League here, but they get to see right here at this event what the next level looks like, and I just am excited about the representation of having girls on the leadership helm of this team, as well as our ally over here, who is a mechanical engineer, and it looks like he's coding as well. I don't know what he's doing over there. What are you doing over there? So this is your first time being in the First Lego League.
Yes.
Tell me how you feel.
Well, I will say, for today, to be able to experience, to see students being exposed to robotics and STEM and being passionate about what they're doing is very inspiring, for something to bring back to my campus as I work with students and setting up more deeper STEM activities for us.
What do you think is the challenges of having a more diverse audience in this space? Like, just from your first experience and the,
Yes.
sort of the minimum, bias you bring to this.
I would definitely say exposure, and just understanding the importance of you can be a part of this. It's not exclusive to anyone, and the money is there, the access is there for everybody. If this is what you're interested in, I do believe that you can get there. So I think when you look at barriers, you just know, do people know how accessible it is? All right, second location. We're here at San Jacinto Community College. They're hosting another robotics competition, so we're gonna come check it out. See what we got. Swipe.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hands up.